4 weeks into carnivore with absolutely no prep, absolutely no gradual lead in, just jumped in, boots and all. And here we are. I can't believe it's been 4 weeks already, Cathy. Welcome to Craving Carnivore. And I'm so excited to catch up with you as always, but we haven't even really checked in this week. So I'm really kind of just as in the dark as anybody watching today about how you've been going. What are your updates? What's been your experience in this 4th week of carnivore?
There have been a few wobbles, which I'll tell you about. But to be honest, I got up this morning and I felt so grateful. Just really, really grateful. Like, since I started carnivore, which, as you said, was overnight, like I quit carbs, sugar, everything overnight, cold turkey. I was that bad with my health. You were like a shining light coming in going, there's hope here. And I was just desperate for hope. I was desperate for something to help me because it's all of the evidence out there. Well, not the evidence, but all of the advice is so conflicting. And you're like, what should I do for the best? And what's going to suit me better? And my body doesn't respond the same way that it did in its 20s. So things that worked for me in my 20s don't work for me now. And I was really very confused. And being a very, busy entrepreneur and mother of 5, I just didn't have the time to research and research. I just wanted to do something that would be an answer for me. And I woke up this morning, which is always a good start, and I thought, I'm just so grateful. And since I started Carnival 4 weeks ago, I have had the most intense 4 weeks you could possibly imagine.
And
Like, I'm really, well, business and personal.
yeah.
Last week, two of my kids were homesick. I'm planning a big launch for my book this week. I'm dealing with 27 authors, which is a lot of back and forth, a lot of emails, a lot of all of those things, and there's a lot to manage. The press releases and all of the things happening, and I'll just like cruise through, just cruise through, really steady. And one of the days I thought, oh, I do feel a bit tired because I've done crazy hours last week and stopped, dropping and rolling, seeing to my sick kids, making sure they were okay. At one point, my 8-year-old daughter said, "Can I have a bell, mummy?" I went, hard pass on that, darling. Hard pass. You're not having a bell. But just like nothing, you may tap on the door or, because in between meetings, I was going out, cold press, medicines, cutting up apple, doing a bit of toast, all of the things being a nursemaid as well as being this entrepreneur. So that was funny. And I cruised through. And then Sunday, because I worked all day Saturday, worked most of Sunday. I was up 3 o'clock Sunday morning, just trying to get things done for the launch, etc., etc. And then I got to about 11 o'clock Sunday and I was studying because I'm studying as well at the moment because why not? It'd be crazy not to. And I thought, actually, I'm weary. I'm actually feeling a bit weary. So I stopped what I was doing. I went and sat on the sofa. The kids had a movie on and I just dozed really heavily during for an hour. And I felt really good again. And I went on again. But I've just been so solid, so centered, and interesting that I've noticed some bodily changes as well. But in case you want to talk about this first before I move on to the next subject, I've just felt grateful. I felt so much relief, so much relief. Don't have any of that chatter now with food chatter. And when you first told me about that, I didn't really understand what you were talking about.
The food noise.
Now I get it. I get it.
Isn't that amazing, the food noise thing? So when I first told you about the food noise, just going to put my do not disturb on. When I told you about the food noise, which was exactly 4 weeks ago today, what did you think I was talking about? You must have thought, well, she must mean something. Did you have any idea at all?
I kind of thought, I kind of understood, but not to the extent until mine shut off.
Right.
And then I really got it. And I really understood how much that ruled my life and took how much bandwidth it took up in my brain.
Right, right. And that food noise, it doesn't just take up bandwidth in your brain. It takes up bandwidth in your whole body because it causes this low grade anxiety the entire time. You're just constantly going, what should I eat? When will I eat next? Will I eat the right things? Did I just eat the right thing? Why do I want more? I've already eaten. What time is it? It's too soon. But I deserve a treat. Oh my God. It's like having a little nest full of baby birds that are never satisfied. That's in your brain.
And not as cute.
Not cute at all. Little monsters. So that's been when did you notice in this last month? So this is kind of a review of the whole month as well as this 4th week. When did you notice that there was, oh, that's now I know what food noise Naomi was talking about. Was there a moment where you went, "Oh, this is what she was talking about?"
I think when I first began, I was very focused on what can I have? As in, I need to get my head around this because, of course, I was vegetarian for 10 years.
Yeah.
The meat's never been a massive part of my life in my adult life. And so I was like, okay. And so I was like focusing on what can I buy in to make sure I've got the things that I can eat because I don't want to stray from this because my health's in the toilet. Like my health's really bad. I need to do something immediately. I'm not going to be here. That's genuinely how I felt. I thought I'm going to have a heart attack. Um, and so that kind of took up the first couple of days.
Alright.
And it's sort of towards the end of that week, I realized that I hadn't really thought about food other than, okay, it's time for my next meal. I need to put the oven on and I need to cook my meat. That's about it. That's the level of conversation that I'd have with myself. But another positive is that one of the days I'd worked crazy hours, and then of course you're cooking dinner for the kids, you're doing this, you're doing that, making sure they're okay. And then I was like, oh, I've got nothing in for me,
Right.
which does happen because I do tend to, as a lot of women do, a lot of primary carers tend to think about everybody else and forget about yourself.
Yeah.
And this particular day, I thought I haven't got anything in, nothing substantial to eat for dinner. And I thought, oh, it doesn't matter, I'll wait till tomorrow. And then I thought, no, I won't. I've had a big day. I do feel hungry and I'm going to go out to the shop and I'm going to buy myself something for dinner, which is a big deal for me. But you see, previously I'd had cereal and toast.
Wow, in the past, you would have done
Yeah.
cereal and toast.
Yeah. Just because it's quick, it's easy, it's done. I can go, move on. But I wouldn't have done myself a nutritious meal because I just run out of time and energy.
Yeah, yeah. I did a similar thing last night because, I wasn't super hungry. I was exhausted because 'cause I've been doing garden work all day long, and I had this thought of same thing as you. I don't think I'm gonna eat. And then I thought, yeah, but I don't wanna because what I found is that when you're hungry, you don't sleep well. And if you think about it, your stomach's basically going, "Come on, get up, go hunt and gather, get some food." So, I thought I should eat something, and then I had just remembered I bought a dozen eggs the other day. So I just whipped up 3 eggs in lots of butter and, just made beautiful scrambled eggs with some little crumbled bacon bits because I had made a whole bunch of bacon, Dr. Ken Berry's bacon recipe where you just take masses of bacon, chop it up, and cook it in a big, steep-sided stock pot so it doesn't splatter all over your stove. You just stir it, like, every 30 seconds, and I had a big bowl of sort of chips. You can make kind of bacon chips with that recipe, and I just crumbled a bit of that in it. It was perfect, and it was exactly what I needed, and so easy as well. When you did that, did you go out and buy a steak or something or some chicken wings, or what did you do?
Yeah, I bought a steak,
Yeah.
100%. And steak and sausages is good now because I put it in the oven, it's done. It's really nice. Yeah. So that's what I've been doing. But
Right.
to actually eat something nutritious, whereas before I wouldn't have. I'd have just gone, oh, just, cereal and toast, which got nothing of nutritional value. Even before carnivore, I knew that it would fill a hole and just be a temporary patch while I would carry on.
A temporary patch that would cause the need for another patch and then another
Yeah.
patch because it's the way it spikes your insulin. Have you watched I know you've been so incredibly busy. This is very likely to be the answer no, but I'm just curious. Have you watched any of those videos and podcasts and things that I've sent you yet? Have you had a chance?
Not as yet, no. But the great thing is, because you've done so much research, I've got that so much secondary gain. Right, just like, and what about this? You like this and this and this and this and that. Amazing. So you like nutshell everything. So you've been amazing as a source of information. Because I'm just at capacity at the moment.
And because you haven't sent me any texts this week saying, "Hey, advice about this," or "I need advice about that," does that mean you're too busy to worry about advice, or had you kind of gotten into a groove where you were feeling good, you weren't having any symptoms that you needed to bring to my attention or get sort of some feedback on in any way?
Well, there was one evening where I was ill this week. And I'd had something I hadn't had before, which was pork. I want to say tenderloins, but I might be wrong. But they were quite large and they had quite a big layer of fat on.
Right.
And so I cooked them off and I didn't eat all of the fat, but the fat did not agree with me.
It was
So
rich for your gallbladder.
too much, too much. And that's the first time I thought, oh, I might have an attack. That's the first time in 4 weeks that I thought, oh my gosh, have I pushed myself? And that was my fear.
Yeah.
That wasn't necessarily physical symptoms. That was me feeling anxious because I did not feel well.
Yeah.
And so what I ended up doing is, sorry for too much information. So just
No such a thing. Beware. Thank. Trigger warning for anyone who's not aware.
here at trigger warning. I actually, in the end, because it was quite late at night, I was exhausted and my history tells me what I need to do. And so I actually made myself sick because I knew it was coming one way or the other. And I wanted to have control. I wanted to be able to go to bed and rest.
Yeah.
So I did do that. I shifted a lot very quickly.
Yeah.
And then my system did calm significantly. And so I thought, okay, so I won't be having those fatty chops again. Or if I do, I'll just cut off the fat and and just eat the meat.
What I would say about that is that, first of all, was one of the symptoms nausea? Okay, so that's the primo symptom, from my understanding, of when you're eating too much fat for your gallbladder to be able to process, which is understandable. It's actually potentially surprising that it's taken you this long to get to the point where you pushed the fat too much too soon. It doesn't mean that in 6 months you won't be able to eat that entire thing and have no problem at all. The gallbladder kind of keeps ramping up to speed and increasing its capacity to deal with fat, and when you've been vegetarian for so many years, your gallbladder has almost all but lost its ability to metabolize, well, to break down fat. And so, um, the fact that you have had energy and you haven't been feeling really hungry over the last 4 weeks means you've been eating enough fat, which is great. But that, I think, big piece of pork fat was just a bridge too far for where your gallbladder's at right now. But I don't want you to cancel that, put that on, cancel in your mind, or let that dictate any kind of concept of how much fat is too much fat. It just is right now.
Mm.
And the nausea, if you are ever concerned about it, so I've heard Dr. Anthony Chafee talk about how that feeling of nausea, if you're worried, am I eating too much fat, and you haven't felt any nausea, you're not.
Interesting.
Yeah. And the second you start to feel a little bit of nausea, because your gallbladder will tell you pretty quickly. So feeling a little bit of nausea, then okay, back off a little bit. Don't have so much next time. So yeah, you wouldn't want to go from, a piece of fat this big with every meal to a piece of fat this big. You'd want to kind of, okay, well, that was fine. Let me see if I can make it this big now. Okay, that was fine. So 2 weeks ago, that was for the last 2 weeks, that's been fine. Now I can go up to this much and gradually increase it, because then you're keeping pace with your gallbladder's capacity to break down and handle that fat. And it's about body
Yeah.
proportion. It's just
And I mean the like lamb and steak fat I'm good with.
right. Okay. And you said
But it wasn't as I was gonna say, it wasn't the same thickness or
yeah, I think
quantity.
that's what it was. I just hit I think you went past your ceiling to how much sort of bile that your gallbladder can produce at the moment. You'll get there.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's one carnivore influencer, Bella Steak and Butter Gal, and I don't know if you've watched anything of hers yet, but she eats just entire giant chunks of cold butter, and which doesn't mean everybody has to eat that. I mean, she's incredibly active, and she's got the body type, which is kind of known as lean mass hyperresponder, and you and I aren't that. But also she exercises, is very, very active and on the go all the time, and she probably burns 6,000 calories a day just exercise-wise. So she's careful to kind of point that out, but it's still, informative, because you
Mm.
still see that, it's not about calories, in terms of that, eating all of that butter. It's about the fact that her gallbladder can handle it no problem, and her gallbladder can handle it just as your gallbladder will get to that point. My gallbladder, definitely has gotten so much better, and when you've got that increased capacity, that fat just starts to be it's like you're eating a ripe mango when you eat that fat. Your body just goes, "Yes, this is amazing." So, put a pin in that and
Mhm.
just kind of work your way up because, actually, it's the bile, eating this way, from my understanding is the gallstones is kind of solidified bile that hasn't had any job to do. So it just kind of solidifies and turns into stones, gallstones. And then when you eat this way more and more, the more fat that's coming into your gallbladder, the more those stones or that sludge or whatever it is starts to break down. And because now the bile has a job to do, it's not kind of sort of sitting there caking, kind of building up. So other than that night of being sick, and you sorted yourself out pretty quickly, sounds like.
Yeah. Yeah.
So did that nausea hit you pretty quickly? Like, how's
Yeah. I mean, my body, I'm pretty in tune with my body.
yeah.
And it wasn't long afterwards, I sat down with my son and I went, oh, I don't feel very well.
Yes, okay.
And I just sort of monitored it. And then I was like, no, I need to get rid of this. Like my body was saying, this is not good.
How long
And once but within the hour, I would say.
yeah, because I heard that meat takes 4 hours to kind of make its way out of your stomach. So, basically, by taking care of it, you prevented the next 3 hours worth of potentially more fat from making it worse.
And I didn't have an attack.
Great.
So it wasn't pleasant getting rid of it, obviously. But that's the first time in 4 weeks that I felt anything but great.
Okay, and your sleep, what's your sleep been like?
Great.
Is that normal for you?
Yeah, I'm normally a fairly good sleeper, although I would say my anxiety has lessened significantly. I mean, previously, although I was a good sleeper, I might wake in the middle of the night and have a panic attack about all of my responsibilities and was I showing up the way I needed to, and because I've got a big life with lots of responsibility, which I love, but I would lot of the time wake in the middle of the night and sort of go through it and have to work my way through those emotional reactions to get to a place where I could rest again.
Yeah.
But I haven't been doing that.
You're just sleeping right through. That's awesome.
Pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. And there's been heightened times, particularly the last couple of weeks, that I've woken up and I felt, oh yeah, those are things that I need to action. But I didn't go down the rabbit hole. It wasn't hours of me thinking I need to go up and get a hot drink so I can try and get myself back into bed. And it was just like maybe 10 minutes of thinking and then like, okay, I'm gonna put a pin in that. I'll think about it tomorrow.
Great. Awesome. And, what other kinds of so we have the mental health things have gotten better for you?
Emotional.
Emotional things, yeah, emotional. And you've stayed pretty even keel through a very stressful, very busy time.
Yeah.
You've been feeling no attacks other than that fear that you might have one that was based on that nausea, which was a familiar feeling, and it was like, I know how this ends, and I'm gonna cut it off at the pass, okay? Um, and have you been feeling hungry and I think the only tired time was the time you lay down, sort of this past week, you had
Yeah, which is
it on the
the hours that I've been doing is reasonable for me to have a rest. But I've done the pate. So I had pate, which I really
sure,
enjoyed.
including a little bit of organ meats, great.
Yes, yes. And I've got some mussels in the cupboard ready as well, because you were saying about that. So I introduced that, which I really enjoyed actually. That was great. And I just had a little teaspoon. It was like a little delicious treat when I was waiting for my steak to cook, which was lovely. It's like an entree. Yeah. So that was really lovely. So I'll get some more of that actually today. But yeah, I'm still having 2 sachets of the it's the elements. But I have 1 sachet between 2 glasses of water because that's just perfect for my taste. And so I have 2 sachets a day at the moment, and I enjoy that.
That's
Yeah.
excellent. Yes, I was doing 2 sachets a day for the first 4 months on
Mhm.
Carnivore. And then I kind of gradually, I think I talked about that in the last video. Okay, so what about other things like skin and you said there were some body things that you wanted to share. Changes since last week?
Yeah, so it's so interesting because The craziest thing about this particular journey for me, not obsessing about my weight, which is weird, like the first time ever. Like, don't get me wrong, I've got an image in my head of where I want to get to for sure.
Yeah.
It's the first time in my life I actually think I'm going to get to it.
So
I actually feel really relaxed about it. I'm like, yeah, that's inevitable.
that is so well put. That is exactly how I feel. I've just got
Mm.
rid of I have a huge load of things to take to the op shop, to Salvation Army in my car that are really good quality things that I bought when I was at my peak weight because I just went, you know what, I'm going to embrace it. I'm just going to, body positivity. I'm just going to not sort of wait and only buy clothes. I have to feel good. And they're all going to some lucky person because I just know that I will never ever fit into those again.
Mm. Mm. Yeah, it's such a great feeling. And so what I've noticed, bearing in mind I've been super, I don't like the word busy, but my life has been very, very full over the last fortnight. I haven't really had time to do any, I've been very, very specific about how I've spent my time. But there's been a couple of things that I went, oh, that's interesting. I hadn't realized that. And one of the things was, and this will sound really silly, but on my legs were quite fat, my legs, and I'd noticed they were getting fatter, like really significantly. And so I haven't really done any exercise because I haven't had the opportunity, just because I've been like flat out working or seeing to the children. And so I noticed the other day that where my socks had been, that indent where the top of the socks are, and I just took my socks off, went, there's not so much of an indent on that part, on that part of my leg. And I was like quite excited about it to the point that I came out and shared it with the whole family. They were like, okay, mum, that's really cool. I went, it is really cool because that was like really quite chubby before. And now I'm like, oh, there's still an indent, but it's very slight rather than a really big indent, which indicates to me that I've lost some bulk on my ankles, which is great. I've always been very jealous of my husband's ankles. I was saying to him the other day, I'm catching you out because he's got great ankles. So that was exciting. And then I've noticed that my butt is changing shape. And so, when your skin, it's the cellulite, when it's all dimpled.
Yeah.
And my butt was like a bit of a rectangle.
Uh-huh.
And I noticed the other day, just by chance, I happened to glance in the mirror and I thought, oh, and I had a good look at my butt. And number one, it's smoother. Like there's still a little bit of cellulite there, but it's a lot shallower. Like it's smoothing out, and it's rounding out as well, so it's not so square. So I was like, that's really interesting. And then this morning, just by chance, I walked out dodging the cats because they try to kill me in the mornings until I feed them. So I just wanted to get the kettle in the oven on first, and I noticed the tops of my legs, I would say to at least halfway down my thighs before we're rubbing.
Yeah.
And I noticed just by chance this morning as I was skedaddling through the house trying to avoid the cats who were coming for me, it's at least halved up my legs. Now they're still rubbing at the top. They're still connecting, like guys, but only like half the time. And I look, I actually stood in the mirror with the cats around my legs, going, "Oh, in a minute." And I looked, and I thought, "Holy moly!" Like that's significantly. So it's not. I mean, my tummy is a lot smaller, and I was looking at it the other day, thinking, I think it is significantly smaller, and my jeans are getting looser, which is great. I could fit into my 18s last week, which is great, but I haven't gone into them yet because I want to be comfortable. I sit a lot with my job, so I want to be comfortable. But I can do them up, which is very exciting. But I think the weight is, well, if it is, it's weight because I haven't weighed myself because I don't want to be
Yeah.
tied to the scales. I don't
No,
want to be,
to start that crazy programming running.
and that emotional attachment to the number. Like I would rather watch my body change shape and watch how my clothes are fitting differently than be tied to a number. Because quite honestly, I've had 5 children. I'm older. My lifestyle is different. My eating is different. I've never been in this situation before, so I don't know what my ideal weight is. I'm just going to look in the mirror and go, I like the way my body feels and looks right now, and then I'll be interested to see what weight that is, but I'm not obsessing about it. And so it's really wonderful to see these little changes, but I think I think it's like it's losing it off the unseen places. like my ankles, like my thighs, like my legs, like my butt. It's all covered. Nobody else would notice that I notice. And Ian's away 3 weeks at a time, so I'm hoping when he comes home, he's going to notice as
And
well.
you might notice things about him too, because he's pretty carnivore as well, isn't he?
Yeah, yeah.
And how's he doing on being able to maintain that while he's away?
Pretty good. I mean, obviously, not everything's in his control when he's away at camp, but he's doing as best as he can at camp, which is fantastic. And he's doing like 20,000 steps a day, so
Yeah.
in his job. So he's doing really well.
Back to the tummy thing. My tummy was the last thing to start to shrink down. And I think it's because that's the adipose fat, the fat that surrounds your internal organs, which is the most dangerous part. Like it's the really dangerous fat. And what I noticed was that the first place that I noticed the weight loss was my wrists, my ankles, and my face. And so it kind of like started at the outer extremities and then gradually kind of worked its way in. And it was specifically when I did that month of lion diet that my stomach like started to go whoosh like this. And we talked about that alternating back and forth between healing and fat loss, healing, fat loss, healing, fat loss. And it was interesting because I think that adipose fat in my belly was the kind of one of the last things to start going down. I've still got probably I'm like you, I don't know what my ideal weight is. I'm really not that concerned with my weight. I want to start kind of doing more just lifting. Like I've put some kind of I don't know how many, I think they're like 3 kilos each or 4 kilos each or something like that. Those kind of little plastic hand weights full of sand, and I've moved them into my living room next to my couch. I don't go in there very often, just sit there and watch TV, but I did last night. I completely forgot they were there. I'm just used to seeing them. They don't look good in my decor. They're like electric green. That is not the vibe of my living room. I thought that would make me see them, but apparently I need other strategies to not just kind of look past them, because I do want to start just sort of sculpting a little bit. But like you, I've noticed distribution, like, just like my arms, like, I mean, the this top, I was like, "I'm so glad I can start wearing this." Well, guess what? It's way too big. It's hanging, but anyway. But yeah, you just start noticing things like these muscles. I can't even if you could see how strong my arm muscles are, and I haven't even been doing anything.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see how fast the muscle kind of comes on. It's not gonna be a lot of work. It's not gonna be going to the gym, not for me. Just picking up those hand weights every now and then, pumping a few reps while I maybe wait for meeting. I should move them into my office is what I should do. This is the place I am the most. So yeah, strategies, It's called habit stacking too. You take a habit you've already got and then you add piggyback something you want to be a habit. So that you think of when you do that first thing automatically, you think, "Oh, I'm gonna pick up my weights and do that as well." And so you're really noticing just sort of like I noticed my shin bones.
Yeah, same. Yeah, I was getting my shins were getting fat. That's how bad it was. You know what I mean? And it's not a nice look. And you'd be ashamed, especially with the hotter weather coming. You're like, I want to, wear some nice things.
And
And this morning I noticed, because I was getting on the top of my shins quite a fatty deposit.
yeah.
And I noticed this morning it's not really there. And I was like, holy moly, like that's amazing. Because it's only been 4 weeks. I haven't exercised, not significant at all. I mean, generally walking around and busy, but not purposefully exercising. But like you, I want to feel strong in my body. So there will be a stage where I would like to do some weights and some things just to feel really strong. Because I've always spent my life being an incredibly strong person in every other area but this.
About muscles or
Well,
about food.
but my body.
Oh, your body. So you've been kind of using your body as a vehicle to carry your head around.
Yeah, because I could never understand why for example, when we're building everything for the book that we're launching this week, I spoke with my publisher and they said, this is what we need. 17 hours. I went into the rabbit hole. I did it in there 17 hours. I sent it back and she went, holy bleep. How the hell did you do that since this morning? I went, I just got it done. So I've got a massive discipline and focus in every other area of my life. I get stuff done, but not in this area of my life, not with my health, not with my weight, not with my eating. And I always felt like a failure. I felt like a fraud. Like, why can't I be strong in this area? I don't understand why I cannot take control of this area of my life. And there was a lot of shame attached to that because we're taught that if you can't regulate your health, you should be ashamed of yourself. Like it's not a good thing. And you do have a lot of shame, which stops you from getting help, by the way. So when you feel shamed and people shame you, it's not helpful.
Mm.
Um, and I genuinely believed there must be an emotional trauma, emotional core to this because I cannot get a grip on my life in this area. But now that I'm on carnivore, which again, never in a million years, I still can't believe I'm doing it. Um, I think there's no emotional core. I feel totally at peace with my body now. My body feels at peace.
And that is such a good point you made about because I was the same and I had done so much tapping on emotional stuff. And I just thought maybe it's bottomless. Maybe I can't fix this. And I now realize that what needed to be fixed could not be fixed with tapping because I was every single day harming my body with eating plants. Um, and maybe I'll be able to go back someday to include them more than I currently do. I don't care, honestly, if I am able to or not. It's just this vague sense of that being more convenient if I'm going out or I'm traveling or something. But there's no part of me like, I can't wait till I could eat plants again because I have heard that people, when they were on carnivore long enough, they sort of heal enough that they can start to tolerate in small doses plants, to an extent where it doesn't harm them because they're predominantly now eating animal fat and animal protein. So yeah, it's a concept that's just kind of lingering out there somewhere, but I don't feel like excited about the possibility. It just because I love what I eat every single day. I've had a beautiful Scotch fillet for breakfast. I've got some more of that gorgeous bacon in the fridge that I'll probably, when I get hungry, maybe that's 3 or 4 hours from now, I'll make myself a great big omelet because I wanna use up those eggs. And, um, and I just love eating. I love eating. It's just that I don't eat the things I used to eat, and I don't care about those things I used to eat. And also, I used to think there was just something just so fundamentally wrong with me. I also thought that I had to give up. When I hear you talking about how disciplined and sort of get things done and effective and proactive and everything that you are, and you were at, why can't I be that way around food? Did you ever have the feeling like, well, maybe I have to give up in order to sort of channel some of that get her done, to my body? Maybe I have to give up something like not be as great a mom, not be as great conscientious a businesswoman. Did you have those thoughts of like, well, maybe it's a work-life balance thing? Because I did
Yeah, I mean, certainly for me, it was, I've got nothing left.
in the tank.
Yeah, so it wasn't, shall I be less of in other areas? It was, I've got nothing left for myself.
Right.
And the funny thing is with this, and the surprising and powerful thing is, it's been so bleeping easy.
Because when you're doing what you are supposed to be doing, we all know that phrase, follow your bliss. And I've had people say to me, Naomi, you work harder than anyone I've ever met. And I was just like, really? I know it doesn't look like or feel like work. I'm sure it looks like work to the casual observer. But to me, I'm having fun every second. I'm so grateful that I get to do what I do. And I never felt that way about looking after my body. It always felt like, even if I liked myself and said, "Oh, I'm enjoying myself. Oh, I love eating salads." And it was more like I was role playing. someone who loved eating salads or role playing someone who loved kind of moving their body. I honestly feel now like that I have reclaimed my birthright, which is enjoyment of this physical body that I inherited to walk around in this life. And it's easy because I'm giving my body the fuel that it wants finally.
But it's also for me, I was thinking about it the other day, embracing a different future. Because I was out recently, very rare, and I was out and about and I saw this lovely lady who was heavily overweight, I would say in her 70s. And I looked at her and it looked like a strain. You know, it really did look like a strain to be out, to be in the world and whatever. And previously, I'd looked at somebody like that with compassion and love, but thought, that's my future. And this time I looked with compassion and love and thought, that's not going to be me.
Yeah.
And it was such a lovely, and all love to her. Like I completely understand. I look at people who are heavily overweight and I just feel love and compassion and connection and all of the things because, that's been my reality for such a long time. But now that I found a different way, I'm grateful that now I don't feel that that is my future.
Yeah, it's so true because it's like there's such a deep knowing that you finally have arrived at that place where you know how to give your body what it wants, and your body will give you the experience you want to have in a body. You just know. There's no kind of, oh, I hope this works. I hope I don't fall off the wagon, la la la. There's none of that. There's just like a knowing of, like I think I said once before, it's like you finally caught the train that you've been running to catch.
And I didn't even have to run.
Yeah.
It basically just stopped. So
Well,
but people carried me on, which is amazing. I didn't have to walk.
Well, all that running was all the years that you were trying all the different ways of eating in the vegetarian and all the way up to kind of running on the platform and in your last gasp, that was that 2 medical shakes a day with a salad and a jacket potato in the middle of the day. That's what I mean by the running. It's just trying, 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 trying. And then suddenly you get on and it's like, oh, I can
Yeah.
relax now. I'm on a one-way train to Healthyville.
Yeah. And do you know what I'm really excited about as well? And this is maybe a girly thing, but I'm so excited. I have got a wardrobe. My poor husband has got no space in, and the majority of my wardrobe is full of clothes I can't fit into.
Yeah. You're gonna have
So I'm so excited because I've got some beautiful clothes, and I've said to my girls, when I look in the mirror and I go, I'm there. I said we're going to go through everything, and I've got suitcases packed full of clothes that I've never worn. Do you know what I mean? I've got stuff in there that I've got. I'll buy the smaller size because then I'll slam into it. Like 4 years ago, it's still getting dusty in the kit, and I'm like, what is going on? And I'm really excited to do that, to go through and bag up for charity, get rid of it and go into our wardrobe and go, oh my gosh, I don't have to wear the same things every day. I don't have to look at something in the shop and go, what can I fit into here? What can I fit into? Is it kind of what I would like to wear? I'm really excited to go in and go, I love that dress. I'm going to get that dress because I'm going to fit into that dress. Not what can I fit into? How can I kind of make it fit my vibe? Do you know what I mean?
I have, definitely reached the place where it's fun getting dressed, as opposed to always this kind of strategic endeavor to hide certain parts of my body. I just feel, "What do I feel like getting dressed in? What do I feel like wearing today?" And, did I tell you about the 3 big tubs, storage tubs that I've got? Did I tell you about those? Because I had so much stuff. I decided to, I think it was about halfway through my carniversary is coming up in like, oh my gosh, like 7 days or something like that, my 1-year carniversary. And so I think it's about the halfway point. I was probably down about 12 kilos. I'm about 16 and a half now. So I was about 12 kilos down. And I went and took uh, all the clothes in my whole house, kind of doing that Marie Kondo thing where you put it all in one great big pile, only instead of like doing, does this spark joy, et cetera, because we're not there yet. I tried things on and I sorted it into, there were 3 piles. There was, oh my God, I can actually wear this now. Actually, there's 4 piles. There was Okay, I can't wear these anymore, even though they're kind of new and I bought them a year ago and I bought 2 pairs because they were so nice, but they're size 7, like 18. So, like, you can't get a size 18 made, like, small enough. They'd have to be completely recut. It'd be so expensive. Maybe if I lived in a country that had cheap tailoring, but not Australia. And so then that was my first big load that went off. So then I had the things that, wow, I can wear this now. How exciting. Whoosh, into the closet. And then I had the tub of stuff that I could wear. It kind of sounds like your pants you're describing that you can zip up, but if you have to sit all day, you're kind of like, I don't know if I'm going to be comfortable. I had that pile. I called that pile skinny. I literally wrote on a piece of paper, "skinny." I don't care how unhealthy that terminology is for anybody
No,
listening.
no, that's
Would
it's our
just
choice what we wanna say.
That's it.
Absolutely.
That was the easiest. I didn't have time to think about a better title. It's just this one, "skinny," and I put them on this big tub, and I put that slip of paper inside "skinny," and the next tub was "skinniest." And that was stuff that I went, "Oh, no, 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 no." In fact, did I have 3 tubs, skinny, skinnier, and skinniest? I think I had 3 tubs. I think I did. I'm through the first one is no longer a tub. I've put everything on, I can wear it all. I've chucked the things that they fit me, but I go, "Do I really ever wanna wear this again? Maybe not." Gotten rid of it. I still have more than I'm gonna end up with, but it all fits. And then I'll be going into I've started to pull something out of the skinnier tub, and I'm excited because I just remembered today there's a couple of pairs of pants in there that, because I was like, "What do I was looking for something to wear last night, and I thought, "Oh, where are those cords?" And I went, "Oh, that's in the middle of the skinnier tub. Okay, I'm gonna go in there this weekend coming up. I'm gonna take those out, and I know that they'll fit me." And then I have the skinniest tub, which is the stuff it's hilarious. It's all, like, lingerie and really low cut jeans from when I was in my early 40s, when I was so I don't know if I could be wearing that stuff, but I wanna be able to make the decision based on other than it doesn't fit.
A choice, a choice. What
Choice.
we want is a
That
choice.
is what we want, and it's fun, and it's joyful, and being able to put something on and go, nah," isn't because I think, "Ugh, I look awful." It's I go, "This looks pretty good, but it's not my style." Out.
Mm.
Like, to be able to choose based on it's not my style rather than it shows my lumps.
And I was having a conversation with somebody about body positivity, which I'm a big fan of. Like, you're in the body that you're in. I think you need to love your body. I think you need. I generally, I genuinely believe that, and I think like Tara and Brumfit stuff so important. Really embracing who we are today, not having that horrible negative chatter about ourselves, and I think her movement is amazing, and needed. And I was having a chat with somebody about body positivity, and they was talking about body shape and body sizes and all the rest of it. And I said, here's the thing for me. I'm a big advocate for body positivity. And I said, whilst I've been bigger, I have done my very best to have the intention of loving myself and caring for myself and accepting myself as I was on that day. However, and the body that I've been in hasn't matched who I am. And I felt that deeply. Like, I go and talk to a room full of 100 women and there'd be photos of me and I'd be like, oh God, that doesn't look like me. That doesn't look like who I perceive myself to be.
Mhm.
So I'm really excited to, as my body changes and, I'll go and get some tubs now and label my tubs. Um, I'm really excited to stand there feeling like myself
Yeah, yeah.
and not in a body that is not representing who I am.
And it's interesting because when I have previously lost weight in my yo-yoing, when I yoed down before I yoed back up again. So on the down yo's, I'd be standing in front of a mirror, I'd have my clothes on, I'd be feeling really slim, and it didn't feel like me. And I thought it was because maybe I had a heavier body weight mindset. No, it was just that I wasn't healthy because that slimness had been achieved through malnourishment.
Well, and also possibly there's a subconscious messaging going on, going, this isn't going to last. Like, this isn't going to last. Keep hold of those bigger size clothes.
100%, which I did.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So you can't settle in and you can't be at peace and happy and proud and joyful. And when you think this is temporary, I'm going to yo-yo back up again.
Yeah, your body's going, yeah, but I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna make you like put it all back on. Your body doesn't say I'm gonna make you put it all back on. Your body says, oh my God, when am I gonna get nutrition?
Feast and famine. Feast and famine.
Feast and famine. So yo-yo dieting is really feast, famine, feast, famine, feast, famine. And the problem with the feasting is that it's compulsive volume eating as opposed and sugar eating. It's carbing rather than actually feasting. And when we're on carnivore, we are actually, I mean, it is the absolute best of both worlds because we are feasting. I'm feasting like never before. I'm putting away enormous quantities compared to before of beautiful, high nutrition meat and fat. And the feeling in my body now of being nourished. Now I feel that calm and that peace and that centeredness and that sense of physical embodiment that I've never felt before in my life.
Well, I'm excited to get to the 3-month mark because they do say between 30 and 90 days. So I'm going, okay, let's have a see in how it's going in 90 days. But, I mean, with the viewer, and I said, I don't know whether we were chatting on here or on the phone. And I was saying, for me, I was thinking, okay, I'm going to at least give it the 90 days. And I thought, no, I think I'm just all right with it. I'm just going to keep going. Do you know what I mean? Whereas before, when I was on a diet, I'd be like, okay, if I lose 3 pounds a week for so many weeks, I could lose this much weight by then. And then I might have a break because, and then if I could do it again, and I'd do all these calculations. And now I'm not even thinking about my weight. I'm just enjoying the changes. I'm noticing the difference. And I think for me as well, everybody sees me, they sees me in my day-to-day life. And then suddenly they'll see me and they'll go, holy moly, like, because everything, as I said, is scooping up, as you said, from the extremities in. So it's places that other people wouldn't notice. I've noticed. And then suddenly I'll go, people go, what's going on? Why are you done? And I'm like, oh, I've been doing this for a while, actually. But happily, happily. I'm actually happy. I'm happy with my body. Not that it's right where I wanted it to be right now, but I know I'm on the path and I feel very connected to that. And I feel, as I said before, now it's inevitable. And I'm really excited. I don't know when it's going to be, and I'm not attached to any numbers now, which is very cool. But there will be enough before and after. And it'll be, there'll be, and the after is going to be me totally at peace, happy with what my body is representing, who I feel I am, being able to wear the clothes that I want to wear, feeling stronger in my body, feeling healthier, because that was really stressing me out. I thought, I am not sure how long I'm going to be here. I want to be here for my 5 children's children. But am I going to be here? And I was thinking, I said to my husband, this is before Carnivore, I said, I need to be here for at least another 10 years to get Taya through her childhood. That's how I was feeling. Like, I need to try and make it another 10 years.
Wow. Well, congratulations on your first 30 days.
My first, yeah, amazing.
Yes, right? It's gone fast. That's right. You have officially finished 1 month on carnivore. And look, the first month is the hardest for everybody. And the fact that you sailed through.
Yeah, I'm so lucky. I'm so lucky.
You are really lucky, but you were really coming from a place of extreme contrast between the unwell and how much better you feel now. So I'm so looking forward to just watching you continue to notice new results and we'll keep checking in. I'll see you again next week. And yeah, week 5. Week 5 is coming up. So I look forward to hearing at the end of week 5 how that went. We'll just keep tracking and keeping progress. And it's really inspiring. So thanks so much again for meeting with me today.